I'm with Teesa here today, and she is a functional nutritionist. And like most of us functional nutritionists, she has her own story of why she really fell in love with functional medicine and knew that she had to do it as her main purpose for her life. And so, Teesa, how did this all get started? What did you start experiencing that made you look outside of the typical conventional world?
Well, about 10 years ago, I started having symptoms. They started with headaches, which was something I'd never really had a bad problem with. And they turned quickly from headaches to pretty severe migraines. And in that time frame, I started losing weight and my hair was falling out and my pulse would race. And I was having all of these symptoms that couldn't be explained. And of course, I went and saw my doctor who couldn't figure out what was going on and did some lab work. And that resulted in many doctors and tests and labs, and nobody could figure out what was going wrong. And in the meantime, I'm getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And
what kind of doctors did you see?
I was seeing every kind of doctor. I feel like I saw an endocrinologist, and I even saw a specialist for nerves because I was having nerve pain all the time, and I was just going downhill drastically. And I kind of went from having bad headaches to almost being bedridden, and really feeling scared and helpless, and didn't know if I had a brain tumor. We couldn't figure out what was going wrong. And I remember one day laying in bed crying helpless, and finally just said, I need to try anything and everything, and reached out to a functional doctor, which I had never really heard of before, and had an appointment. And after that first appointment, it was like the light bulbs all went off. It was like, yes. They heard me, because if they could say, are you having these experiences and these symptoms? And no other doctor I could talk to could put them together. Everyone wanted to treat each symptom differently and see a different doctor for each symptom. And my functional doctor was able to say, look, this is all connected. And it ended up being my thyroid, which I had been tested for my regular doctor, who said, everything's fine, your lab work's fine, nothing's wrong. And yet I knew very differently that something was really wrong.
So what did he find with your thyroid?
He found out that I had Hashimoto's. And so I was quickly able to get on a program of changing what I ate and taking some supplements and working on my stress and continuing to move my body, and just a little different perspective. It wasn't anything really major, but it was enough of a shift that it made all the difference for me. And within 6 months, I was functioning fully again. Wow. Within just a few months, I was out of bed and so much better. But within a year, I was even better than I could ever remember feeling in my life.
What kind of symptoms changed?
The headaches went away completely. I haven't had a single one since. And the drastic weight loss, the racing heart, my hair falling out. I had one pupil dilated and the other one not. I had no balance. My brain fog was horrible. So there was a lot of symptoms, and all of that went away.
So did you find what some of your root causes for those symptoms were?
Stress was a big one for me. As a mom of 4 young kids at the time, that was a big one. Not getting good sleep, not handling my stress. I was using my workouts as my stress relief, so I was working out too much, which I'd never thought that was possible, but for my body couldn't handle it at the time. So those were the kind of things. And also really changing how I ate. That was a big one. I thought I was a healthy eater before, but there was things my body wasn't tolerating and I didn't know.
What were a few of those things?
Gluten and dairy were the big ones for me. When I took those out of my diet, everything changed. Almost overnight.
Wow. And so then you're like, okay, functional medicine's where it's at? And then what happened?
For me, it was like, yes, this has saved my life. This is changing my life. I was so interested and excited about it. And then people in my family started noticing that I was having this shift in my life, and they were having health issues, so they came and talked to me. And so eventually I was referring friends and family and even my own children to my functional doctor and helping them to go through this program and change their lifestyle habits. And that's when I realized this is really where I need to be, because it really resonated with me, my friends, my family, my children. I was able to see the drastic changes in their lives, and I thought, I want to be a part of this.
What were some of the changes in your kids' lives?
Well, my children were also diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and so they were having similar type symptoms, and that was able to be corrected by changing their diet as well, and changing their habits for stress. A lot of us don't think about managing our stress, but it's a big one.
Yeah, and so you were able to see, okay, this worked for me, and now I'm seeing it work for other people, So I'm not like the outlier, like this actually works.
This actually works. And at the time, I was a postpartum doula working with parents and babies and helping them to figure out their lifestyle habits. And I thought, this needs to be for people who have autoimmune disease or chronic disease. We need some kind of support like this to get through this and help navigate it. And I thought, this is exactly what I want to do.
So then what'd you do?
So I went back to school and I did some training with Andrea Nakayama and was able to get certified as a functional nutrition coach, and then eventually as a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner.
Gotcha. So what do you wish like other people who were in your state, who are kind of having these symptoms and doctors are like, I know everything looks normal, I don't see anything too crazy going on, and they're like, but I don't feel well or something is off, like what do I do? What would you say to them?
Trust your instincts, and just because the doctor says everything's fine or your labs look normal and you know you don't feel good, trust your instincts. And I think that's really critical. A lot of times we put all of our faith into the medical system and think they know everything, so we start doubting ourselves. And I think it's really important, if you know something's wrong and you feel off, pursue that.
And what do you think functional medicine has the power to do for those people?
Well, it's really about getting to the root cause of what's going on, instead of kind of slapping a Band-Aid on it or giving you a medicine and saying, oh, this will take care of your symptom. We're really looking at, why are we having this symptom? What's going on in our body that's causing this, and fixing that. And that's a really big difference.
Yeah, and when you do that, you don't exactly realize how ill or unhealthy you are. And so then it's not like, oftentimes people will say, I just want to fix this 1 or 2 symptoms, or I want to reach this one goal. And then when you get them healthy, their body has so much more resiliency to function at such a higher level that then they're like, oh wow, I didn't realize I could feel this way. I didn't realize like I need to set even bigger goals than what I came in with.
Exactly. You kind of get to that place in your life, you think, oh, I'm getting older, so I should feel this way, or maybe I don't work out as much, that's why I feel this way, or whatever your thing is. There's got to be some good reason for it. But honestly, usually it's something, dysfunction's happening in our body and we're not realizing that it's kind of slowly taking its toll.
Yeah. So no matter where you're at, there's probably a whole nother level of health that you're not experiencing if you haven't addressed all the root causes and given your body everything that it needs in order to function at its best. So hopefully this has inspired you to be able to hear a real life story of what functional medicine can do. You hear me talking about it all the time on the channel. So if you feel like this is something that could be helpful for you and something that you could use going forward, please continue to like and subscribe to the channel and hear more about functional medicine.